Hi again. During the last video lecture, we talked about homologous chromosomes, and I just have this karyotype up again to remind you that in our body cells, humans have 46 chromosomes or 23 pairs, and we refer to the pairs as a pair because they contain the same types of genes, the same types of GNAs, but they can come in different forms. And we're going to learn today that the different forms of gene can come in are referred to as alleles. So every gene has it can have multiple variations, and we refer to those as alleles. So examples are like the gene for eye pigment, blue or brown. Those are two alleles of a trait, blue and brown. They're two forms. Today, we're going to talk about a cell division that separates the homologous pairs of chromosomes, okay? So if we have 23 pairs of chromosomes in our body cells, meiosis is going to produce cells that have 23 chromosomes that are not paired, right? And this type of cell division creates gametes, and gametes are the egg in females and the sperm in male. So egg and sperm are the only cells in our body that don't have paired chromosomes. Egg and sperm have 23 chromosomes, but they're not paired up. And we're going to talk about why this is important, because once an egg and sperm fuse, possibly during fertilization, those homologous chromosomes are found again, right? Like if you have a sperm with 23 chromosomes that's unpaired and an egg with 23 chromosomes that are unpaired, once fertilization happens and those two cells fuse together, then each of those chromosomes now again has a pair, right? There's two of them. And I'm showing this to you in a visual now. So here, let me put my pointer. On the left is a sperm. Now, I didn't put all 23 chromosomes. What I'm showing you is this represents, let's say, chromosome. It looks like it could be this fifth pair, one of them. But this sperm only has one out of the two. So this cell only has, and I'm only drawing one, but it would have one out of all of these pairs. So how many chromosomes would the sperm have? 23. And so we would say that now this cell is haploid. Think of haploid as like half the number of chromosomes, but not just half each of a pair. Now here on the right is an egg, and the egg also only has one chromosome of each pair, so 23 total, but one of each pair. And so, for example, I gave you, I'm showing you here that maybe the sperm on this chromosome has the pigment for brown. The egg on this chromosome has the pigment for blue. So now this arrow represents fertilization, this sperm and the egg joining to eventually make the offspring. So now those chromosomes pair up. So really, one out of every pair of chromosomes that you have in every of your cell was received from the sperm of your father, and the other one was received from the egg of your mother. And so you have combinations of chromosomes. You have half from your mother, half from your father, and they're paired up into homologous chromosomes. Meiosis now is the cell division that creates the egg and the sperm. This is an overview, which is found in 10.1 in your text. So meiosis is going to have two cell divisions, all right? So we're going to start with one cell, and at the end, there's going to be four cells. So it's a cell divides once, and then each of those two cells divides again to make a total of 4. Meiosis 1 is referred to as the reduction division. So just like in mitosis, before the nucleus and the cytoplasm start to divide, the DNA is duplicated. So here, this is showing you the top. Do you see how there's only single sister chromatids? DNA replication happens, and we end up with, in this picture, they're showing you 4 chromosomes, each with 2 sister chromatids, so 4 duplicated chromosomes. If this was a real human cell, there would be, right, 46 chromosomes, but that would be really confusing to draw. So they're just showing it with 4. That's what they're doing. So now here, 2N means haploid. The haploid number is 4 because there are 4 chromosomes. Notice that what has happened here in this, and this is just an overview of the main points of meiosis 1, the first division, is something called synapsis, where the homologous pairs find each other. So notice here they're making one of each pair red and one of each pair blue. You can think of it as maternal, paternal. But they line up. Remember metaphase and mitosis, all the chromosomes lined up. There it would be 1 through 46. Here in meiosis 1, the homologous pairs line up. Okay, so they find each other, they find each pair, and they line up in the metaphase plate. So we're still in meiosis 1, the first division. After the homologous pairs line up, they separate, right? The pairs separate and the nucleus divides, the cytoplasm divide. All those steps aren't shown here, but the 2 members of the homologous pairs separate. So notice you have the little red chromosome from this top pair on this cell, the little blue chromosome from the initial cell on this cell. And again, for the larger pair, you have the blue one here, the red one here. So the homologous pairs have separated. So meiosis 1 separates the homologous pairs. So how many, if this was a real human body cell, how many chromosomes would be in each of these? If the homologous pairs separate, right, we would have 23 chromosomes in each because we have 23 pairs. If they separate, we'd have just no pairs, but 23 chromosomes in each. Now, meiosis 2, one thing before I get to meiosis 2 is that now we will refer to each of these daughter cells as haploid because they have half the number of chromosomes. Now, meiosis 2 is very similar to mitosis. So meiosis 1 produced these 2 cells. Meiosis 2, remember that we had duplicated the DNA. So meiosis 2 just separates the sister chromatids. So meiosis 2, all the steps are the same as mitosis. The chromosomes condense. They line up singly along the metaphase plate. The sister chromatids separate at the centromere. And what you end up is 4 daughter cells, each that contain 1 chromosome from each pair, non-duplicated, right? It's a single sister chromatid. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you notice, each chromosome doesn't have the 2 sister chromatids because the sister chromatids separated. So there's one here, from this chromosome, one here, one here. So what we end up after meiosis, which is meiosis consists of 2 divisions. The first division, the chromosomes go from diploid to haploid, or we separate the homologous pairs. In the second division of meiosis, we separate the sister chromatids. And so each of the 2 cells divides again, forming a total of 4. All right, that's it for this video lecture.